Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles, and on this episode we're reviewing WWE Royal Rumble 2023. Now part of this is, if you watched a couple days ago, I did a preview for the Royal Rumble where I made predictions. So as we go along, I'm going to tell you if I got my prediction right or if I got my prediction wrong. If you haven't seen any of my shows before, I rate everything on a 1 to 5 scale. 1 is the worst, 5 is the best. Jumping right in, we start off with the Men's Royal Rumble. And I'm not going to cover every entrant in this, in either match. I will talk about some of the highlights. Gunther and Seth Rollins, to me, were the two MVPs of the match. I think they were awesome all the way through. The spot with Ricochet and Logan Paul was absolutely phenomenal. The fact that Rey Mysterio never got into the match, kind of interesting. I want to see what they go from there. Cody Rhodes coming in at number 30 and ultimately winning the thing. For me, a person that's a huge Cody Rhodes fan, I like his work. I've liked him ever since he started. I thought this was absolutely perfect. Hopefully, they do not drop the ball from here, because this is much like the Lex Luger-Yokozuna build-up, where Lex won by count-out at SummerSlam. If the payoff to this is not Cody Rhodes winning the championship, then they shouldn't have done this. With that being said, I thought this was a really fun Royal Rumble. I enjoyed it from the beginning to the end. The comedy spots were good. The action was great. The part in the middle where they had all the big beefy men in there at the same time, that was awesome. Pat McAfee being back for commentary, that was great as well. Cody did pick up the win. I did predict this one correctly. I'm giving this a 5. I thought it was an awesome match. Next up, we have the match that a lot of people questioned going into the show. In a Mountain Dew Pitch Black match, Bray Wyatt going up against LA Knight. LA Knight, yeah! Dummy. There was some trepidation and some genuine interest on what this was going to be. It kind of looked like Midnight Bowling mixed with a little bit of roller skating. High on the black light. The ropes were cool. It looked awesome. The effects of it looked great. Bray Wyatt having the different colored paint on him when the lights went out and changing. That was really cool. The confetti that looked like Predator blood all over the place was really cool. The match itself, not so great, but the spectacle of it, the spectacle was fantastic. This, to me, is how you book one of these matches. It's not going to be to everybody's liking. There are going to be a lot of wrestling purists that hate this. But it was fun. It was different. I'm sure Mountain Dew paid them a good amount of money for the sponsorship. Their logo was prominently placed on the ring and around the ring for the match. These two guys made this more than it should have been. Bray Wyatt does pick up the win here. I did pick this one correctly too, so I'm 2 for 2 for the night. I'm giving this one a 4. Afterwards, we see an appearance from Uncle Howdy, which he's standing on what looks to be at least 15 feet high off of the ground on some kind of, I don't know what you would call it, a ledge. It's not a balcony, it's covered. I'm guessing it's probably a scissor lift that they put him on there, kind of like with the Barrett Barrage they used to do. Uncle Howdy jumps off to hit LA Knight, yeah, and he totally misses him by about 5 feet. They kind of covered it on the replays, but it was a bad miss on the live first shot. Even with that, again, I thought this was entertaining. I'm giving this a 4. Now, going off of that, we roll right into our next match for the Raw Women's Championship. Bianca Belair defending against Alexa Bliss. I think they did these girls a real disservice here, putting them on after these two matches. You had what was a great Rumble match followed up by the Pitch Black match, which was a spectacle and different and interesting. And then you go right back to what is a normal match, and not a bad match by any stretch of the imagination. These two had a good match out there. It just feels like it was a step down. It was put in a bad position. Maybe they should have started the show with this and then went into a Royal Rumble. I understand why they start off with the Rumble. They want to get everybody in the crowd cheering right off the bat. Bianca beats Alexa on this one. I picked this one correctly as well. So I'm at 3-0 for the night. 3 right, 0 wrong. I'm giving this match a 3. It was good. I've seen both women have better matches. I am excited to see what we're going to talk about here in a moment coming up at WrestleMania. But again, this could have been better. Afterwards, we see a little montage with some school playground stuff. Much again teasing the Alexa Bliss involvement in the Bray Wyatt Uncle Howdy stuff. Again, giving it a 3. Going from that, we go into the Women's Royal Rumble. Much like the men's, I'm not going to talk about every single entrant. I will say some standouts. Chelsea Green returning. That was awesome. Nia Jax. Not so much. The crowd did not like that. And I'm not one that hates Nia Jax. She would not have been my choice to return here at all. I mean, I'm glad she has a job. Good for her. But I just don't enjoy her work, and it seems like most of the crowd doesn't enjoy it either. They could have used that for somebody else. I liked all the NXT women in there. The Roxanne Perez with a strong standing, Indy Hartwell coming out. I wish they would have had Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae in at the same time to get a little bit of that. Damage Control looked awesome. Asuka returning and having what is a throwback to her Kana gear and her Kana makeup when she was in Japan looked absolutely amazing. She actually had me worried, not that I dislike Asuka, I actually really do enjoy her. She's one of my favorite women wrestlers. But she had me worried that my pick wasn't going to win the match. And that was great because she looked amazing as well. Shotzi made her return. Lots of great stuff happening here. Michelle McCool coming out of the crowd. That was awesome too. Ultimately, we get Rhea Ripley picking up the win with a very cool ending with Asuka, her, and Liv Morgan all fighting on the apron. I thought this was a really fun Rumble as well. Both the Rumbles were really good. It feels like the time between entrance and the women's match was much shorter than the men's. Maybe it was at least 15 to 20 seconds shorter. Maybe they were going short on time. Maybe the men's took longer than they thought it would. Again, I'm going to give this one a 5 as well. I did predict it right. I predict Rhea Ripley to win, so I'm sitting at 4 correct. 0 wrong. And that was just awesome. I'm so excited to see Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. That's going to be an amazing match. These women are awesome. If we don't get a Rock return or an Austin match, hopefully that's the main event of one of the 2 nights, because it's going to be that good of a match. Now, going from that, we go to our low light of the evening for me. And I don't know this guy. I'm not someone that listens to a lot of country music, especially not a lot of the pop country music. So I'm not familiar with this gentleman, Hardy. I don't know him at all. The only thing I've ever heard is them playing little snippets of his song that they were using. And they set up a little concert for him where he played the song, which is the theme of Royal Rumble. I don't even remember the name of it at this point. And it was bad. And if you like Hardy, I understand. He's probably better than he was here. Listening to him live, I'm sure he has to be. I can't imagine that someone with as many listens and as many fans as he has, is this bad normally? Again, if you like him, let me know. Is this how he normally sounds, or is this a bad performance? Because it kind of felt like a bad performance. There have been people that I'm not fans of that I could say put on good shows, put on good performances. Heck, if I were to watch the CMAs, I'd probably find 4 or 5 of the performances awesome, and I would like what they did. This did not do anything at all for me. For that segment, I'm giving that a big old 0. I thought it was terrible. I'm going less than my 1 because it shouldn't even been on here. If anything, start the show with it, get it out of the way. Don't put it here between what's going to be 2 great matches. Spoiler. Again, big fat 0 for me. Last but not least, for the Universal Championship, Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. Roman has Sami Zayn and Paul Heyman with him. Earlier in the night in the pre-show, he told the rest of the Bloodline to stay back, that he only wanted Sami to come out with him. This was pretty much what you would expect from their matches. I mean, these are 2 really good top-of-the-line wrestlers. This, to me, is when WWE gets things like this right. They get it right, and they do it better than anybody else. The Bloodline storyline has been the best thing on WWE television in the last 2 years, and arguably the best storyline in all of wrestling over that time period as well. The match itself, which was a really good match, don't get me wrong, felt like just another cog on the storyline, just another beat in that. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It progressed the storyline a lot like what we would see from Steve Austin versus The Rock or Austin versus McMahon back in the day, where they'd have awesome matches, but it was part of a bigger overarching story, which this was. Roman eventually picks up the win over Kevin Owens, but that wasn't the only thing. Afterwards, we see the entire Bloodline dismantling Kevin Owens, except for Sami. Sami is trepidatious the whole way. Jey Uso goes to give Sami Zayn a leg to make him officially Bloodline. Roman stops him and basically is going to hit Kevin Owens, who at this point is handcuffed to the ring ropes, and I'm skipping some parts of this because it was pretty long. He's going to hit Owens with a chair, which Sami brought into the match earlier. And Sami stops him, says this is beneath you, you should not do this. He agrees with Sami, says it is beneath him, hands the chair to Sami, said you do it. This is your test. This is your moment. Prove it to me. And you can see, and this is where Sami Zayn is on a level that few other wrestlers have ever got to, storyline-wise, storytelling-wise. You could feel how conflicted he was and how much he wanted to impress Roman Reigns, but here's his best friend for 20 years. A guy that he began wrestling with, a guy that he wrestled on the indies in, a guy that he's gone back and forth with for 2 decades. Ultimately, Sami chooses not to hit Kevin Owens, and we get what has to be a callback to the Shield breakup, where Roman kind of stands in front of Sami and starts talking trash in a way that Sami has the opportunity to hit Roman with the chair, which at that point he does, thus creating chaos. Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa jump all over him. Noticeably, Jay stands back and kind of looks like a sad puppy dog, thus conveying his confliction. Here's Sami Zayn, who's proved over and over again to him that he was loyal to the Bloodline, that he was part of them. And it harkens back to the beginning of the Bloodline, where Roman and Jay had a thing going on. Ultimately, the Bloodline looks at him, he kind of looks back and walks away. They continue to attack Sami. Sami pretty much puts a rift in the Bloodline, where it's Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa, and Roman Reigns are the only ones standing there. Jay has walked away. Sami's left laying in the ring with Kevin Owens handcuffed to the ropes. And that is how we end the Royal Rumble. For that, I'm giving that segment, that whole thing, a 5. I thought it was absolutely amazing. Great storytelling. Again, when the WWE is at their best, this is what they do better than anybody. Their storytelling is better than any storytelling any company can do. And that's not a knock on the other companies. It's just, when they do this right, they really do it right. Thought this was absolutely fantastic. A fantastic show from pretty much the beginning to the end, sans the Hardy song. Overall, I'm going to give the show a 5. The sum of its parts was better than the whole. Take away the Hardy song, it's really good mostly all the way through. Bianca and Alexa, while it wasn't a great match, it was good. The 2 Rumbles I thought were really good. Roman and KO, that whole story was fantastic. The Pitch Black match was better than I thought it was going to be. So again, I'm going to give the show a 5. I thought it was a really good show. That being said, let's smash that like button, share the video, subscribe if you haven't, and if you made it all the way to the end, let me know, did you like the Hardy song? Yes or no? Say yes, I liked it, no, I didn't. Or if you're a Hardy fan or a country music fan, let me know your opinion on Hardy. Put that down here in the comments to let me know you made it to the end. With all that being said, my name is George Coles, and this has been my review of the Royal Rumble 2023.